Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip Committee meeting. Today is October 14th, 2024, and we'll call this meeting in order at 7:31 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin? Here. Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Navas Garza? Here. Trustee Peretta?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll start with our officers' reports this evening, starting with mine. First on your agendas this evening was the, just as a reminder, next week there will be a special zoning commission. A special zoning commission will conduct a public hearing on October 21st, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. here in the Village Boardroom. Said public hearing will be to consider a text amendment regarding the citing and regulation of cannabis organizations, including allowing cannabis dispensing organizations to operate as a special use in a B1 business district. All parties interested are invited to attend and are invited to attend said hearing and be heard. So certainly we welcome the public if they'd like to have input in that. Next, following that meeting, we'll be making a request for approval of an ordinance amending the Village of Alsip zoning ordinance regarding the citing and regulation of cannabis organizations. And that's all I had tonight for my report. I know we've had plenty of discussion on this in the past with the respective business that was asking for this, so he's not here this evening, so please, Board, if you have any additional questions, Keith McGinnis can certainly answer those next week. We'll go to our clerk's report. Clerk Harding.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the presentation of the 2025 board meeting schedule, presentation of the October 7th, 2024 board meeting minutes, presentation of the September 2024 IDOT motor fuel tax allotment in the amount of $74,302.13, and the presentation of the September 2024 FOIA report. And that is all I had, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We don't need an attorney for the committee meeting, so we'll go to the engineer report. Mike, did you have something from Jeff Hagan?
No.
No? Okay. So there'll be no report tonight from them. Thank you. Next would be the public forum. Anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Anybody? Okay. Come on up, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Mayor, trustees.
Evening.
I'd just like to give a thank you to the Alsip Police. And the reason I'm saying that is because last Monday, I had to make a stop at our Walgreens at 122nd Street.
Right.
As I'm getting ready to go in, I see some guy with a grocery cart. It's full to almost overflowing with laundry products and whatever. I wasn't in there no more than about 2 or 3 minutes when an Alsip policeman came in there to talk to the clerk who was at the front desk when the guy went out there.
Okay.
So I'm glad I gave my 2 cents. He was headed toward that laundromat that was over there. So the clown was probably going to be selling those laundry products to those people in
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
But they got him. But I went in a couple of days after that, and the people in Walgreens told me that, you know, it was another one just even before that. So my question is this, because I think I brought this up before, and I know it's going to have to be done, and I just pray that Mary Gill is reelected our state representative, because there needs to be 2 levels of retail theft. It can't just be one, because see, if it's over $500, anybody can run into Walgreens or whatever and just get to what they want, and it won't even be that much. That's why I'm saying it needs to be 2 levels.
Right.
And that's why I hope Mary Gill gets reelected again, so her and Senator Cunningham can take this to Springfield, and maybe we can get some legislation on that, because when theft like that occurs, it's going to hurt all of us.
Well,
And we hopefully that Walgreens will not close its doors because of a bunch of thugs.
Understood. And I appreciate your concerns, too. I know we've heard from a few people, and I guess, like any store, I mean, when it comes to security and so forth, some stores have security, some don't. I guess, our store, the store on Pulaski, like you said, doesn't feel the need for such, and they've done pretty well. But they do have a store policy that they don't chase folks and stuff like that, and for their own protection. And, but I appreciate when, again, actually, I believe it's Larry, right? Your name, sir?
Robert.
Robert.
Robert, yeah.
Robert, and that's actually my front page thing on our upcoming newsletter. I'm still reminding folks all the time, is if you see something, say something, call 911. It doesn't have to be an emergency, but this is a great mode of communication to let us know if, when you see something like that yet, too, because, that's what drives costs up, too, at the same time. When you get shortages like that yet, too, and it's great you're looking out for the store's interest in something like that. I mean, not just, I know, like, the rest of us all want to see everybody on the same playing field, but you're looking out for the interest of that proprietor, and that's great. I appreciate it, Robert.
And one of the things, I've watched this program now, it shows a whole lot of reruns. It's called The First 48 Hours.
Oh, sure.
I get sick of people talking about, I didn't see anything, I don't know anything, I don't know anything, okay? Okay, I saw this guy. I'm not going to say anything?
Right.
I wasn't raised that way, okay?
Right.
I had to work for a living, just like the rest of my parents did,
Absolutely.
okay?
I tell you, we can go on all night with those. I remember my dad saying, go out and cut our grass and get the guy next door, too, because, if he knows you're out there. So, yeah, that's a whole other class that we should be teaching and stuff then, too, to the kids. But, no, Robert, thanks for bringing it to our attention. And I'll certainly share that with Chief Miller when I see him tomorrow, okay?
You're welcome. Oh, and one more thing, Mayor. I sent emails to almost every news agency in this state,
Okay?
along with the, I guess, the League of Women Voters.
Okay.
We need, because see, all right, the police can do one thing, but it ultimately comes down to the Cook County State's Attorney.
Mhm.
My God, we needed a debate for State's Attorney.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that.
Politics
Yeah.
are so polarized one time. Now, like I told you guys before, I'm old, I go back. I voted for Bernard Carey for Cook County State's Attorney.
Okay.
He was a Republican. And a lot of black people like me did. But right now, there's no way in the world I'm going to vote Republican. But we still need a debate to bring the issues out.
Good point.
Because I'm
Good
sorry,
point.
Kim Foxx was a failure.
I don't want to bring politics in the room, but I
Like I
appreciate
said, you don't have to, but I can because I'm a citizen.
I get it. I respect everybody's First Amendment right. I get you and stuff. So, no, Robert, thank you very much. And like I said, I'll share that with Chief Miller tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Robert. We'll go on our standing committee reports. Let's go to Finance and IT. Trustee McLaurin.
Thank you, Mayor. I will have the usual list of payroll and accounts payable for approval next week. And
Okay.
that's all I have this evening.
All right, thank you. We'll go to the Fire Committee report. Trustee Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a discussion to amend Chapter 9, Article 2, Section 9 through 32, Ambulance Service. Discussion to increase our ambulance billing rates based on our current cost report, which is submitted for our GEMT. This report is mandated by CMS. Discussion of missing lift assist fee from current ordinance. Chief?
All right. Good evening, everybody. So every year we're required to fill out a cost report for our GMT funding, which pretty much says how much it cost us to run our ambulance service. Over the last couple of years, it's been pretty much the same as matched our billing. This year, it's gone up to $3,000 for our average ambulance trip right now. A lot of it because we got the new engine in there, the squads in there. There's a few things that are in there that drove our costs up or whatever. My proposal is bring our right up for the ALS care for the cost, which is $3,063. I just rounded off to $3,000 to make it easier. For our ambulance billing going forward. We do have in our ordinance that every year it does get raised 3% because that's what the typical fees go up every year. But yeah, I think we need to bring it up from the current 2,200 up to the 3,000 for it, just to cover our costs. Ambulance service is not getting any cheaper; it's getting more expensive. There's less equipment we're going to replace at the hospitals that we're putting out of our budget. So all this needs to be taken into consideration, as well as salaries and cost of new apparatus. We have a new ambulance on order we should have next year. That went from $240 up to $240,000 up to $260,000. So cost of these vehicles are just going to keep going up and up, so we need to keep up with that.
So, Chief, I'm sorry, I was looking at what you submitted in the packet. This actually, what you gave us in the packet, I'm just double checking.
I just gave you the copies of the ordinance, not the cost report.
No, I get it, but
Right.
do you know the ordinance number that you're referring to?
9-32.
Okay, that's what I have here. Now, just to bring it to your attention, before I was getting ready for tonight's meeting, and like you said, back in 2016, the board approved, what you had asked us, what you just said a second ago, was the above rates shall automatically increase by 3% annually beginning January 1st of, this was actually of 18. And then the new one that you're saying, like the one in 17, or at least the one that you have in the packet here.
I gave you 20 and 22.
Okay.
If you look at 2020, it was 12, or I'm sorry, it was basic.
So,
$1,300 for ALS. 2022, again, was based off a cost report, went up to $2,200.
And the lift assist, oh, I see, the above rates.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever we changed, somehow we missed that, and I didn't catch it when it was posted. That's why I want to talk about that also.
Because the 17, which would have got you there anyway, but even by going up 3% a year, I was just doing some fast math, let's say 5 years ago when we approved this in 17. In other words, starting in 18, non-transport, I'm sorry, meaning lift assist, was $150.
Correct.
So, and that would have been the 3%, that would have been the 125 times 3% for, like,
Right.
whatever, 5 year, you're at the bucket, you're at the
Yeah.
$150. So,
You haven't even got to the lift assist yet, so I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the ALS
okay,
cost. That's what we need to bring back up to $3,000, which is our current cost report reflects. So every time we transport a patient, that's what we charge for the insurance companies and for GEMT, which is ground emergency medical transport, which is through CMS through the state.
So right now, Chief, what you submitted in the packet, a resident with Advanced Life Support 1 or Advanced Life Support 2 is at $2,200.
Correct.
Non-residents pay $200 more, they're at $2,400.
Yep.
And one more time, real quick, you're recommending how much?
Go up to $3,000 and $3,200. $3,000 for residents and $3,200 for non-residents. Just to keep up with our cost report.
Chief, do you got any comparables from other towns?
Everybody's cost report's different. It varies. There's towns that have a cost report that's about $900. It's usually the smaller part-time or volunteer departments. You have departments that have bought or that have built new stations and have a lot newer equipment that go all the way up to $5,000 for the cost report. There are some departments that are charging almost $7,000 right now for an ambulance. That's through the GEMT.
No, I understand.
Yep.
How about if,
Listen,
Certainly.
can we please get a copy of the cost report? I mean,
Oh, I'll
since you're
send it
saying
to
that
you.
these are based on
Absolutely.
that, it would be good to know what's in there.
It's about 20-something pages long.
Chief,
Yeah, full cost report.
are these charges typically just billed directly to insurance?
Correct. And through the state for through CMS for Medicaid, Medicare.
What's our collection rate on it?
On GEMT, 100% on GEMT because it goes through the state.
No, on all the billing that we send out for this.
Ambulance billing, I don't know off the top of my head. They do a very good job of collecting everything. Sometimes it takes sometimes a year and a half to get payments, so it's really hard to tell what our actual percentage is. And some we end up sending to collections. some people, have hardship cases, some are settled in court, so
Sure.
really can't get a good accurate number on what our collection rate is from what we bill. Too many variables in there.
Chief, if I want to confirm what trustee Dahl, I'm making a note right now, what trustee Dalzell just asked you, I have to get all the state or GM, or our billing service? They're gonna
Our
be able to
ambulance
tell me?
billing, which Maria gets a copy of that every month, what our statement is.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't doubt,
They'll set out how much was billed out, how much we collected, but again, with the insurance, you don't see nothing for 2-3 months, sometimes 6 months, and depending on other circumstances, it could be almost a year later.
But we always know what the billing was. We know what the outstanding balances remain.
Yeah, you'll know what your outstanding balance is, but you're not going to know, if you bill right now, you really can't have a good percentage of what your actual collection rate is.
But it's the same thing we have for property taxes and the same thing we have for
Yeah.
the pensions.
That's not really accurate.
Well, it is accurate, because some of the monies that you're not receiving for a present have been encumbered and received from 1, 2, 3 years in the past. So all that money moves forward, and the only thing you're not going to get is anything that you have to sit there and write off.
Right.
But we should know what that write-off balance is.
Yeah. Like I said, finance gets it every month, what our statements are through the ambulance billing company.
I don't doubt what you're saying, Chief, but I got to do a quick prove-up on it and stuff.
I'll
Just
send you the
I
cost
got to
report.
work on facts,
Yep.
And where else would we get like a fact check on something like this?
We have to do our own cost report every year.
No, but I'm saying like similar in what I'm saying is like, where does the insurance company stand? Are they disputing the $3,000 or $5,000?
I don't know about other villages. I know, we haven't had any disputes
Okay.
with anything because it's all fair. They know it's based off of our cost report, so we can always prove what our cost report is because we have to submit that every year to the state.
Who would have that data? Our ambulance collection service?
What's that?
And what the insurance companies are approving? In other words, I don't want to jam somebody up and then we're not even going to get the money anyway and stuff, is
Right.
my point.
They just send out the billing. They don't get any complaints or nothing like that. All the insurance companies know this goes on through the state, and it's all based off the cost report.
I get it. I just don't want to just do a so-called pile-on and not be able to recover what we're asking for. I want to be able to prove that up.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do that,
Okay. I'll look into it.
unless you want to talk to every insurance company, but...
No, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure I can call our insurance company. They should be able to tell me that and stuff
Yeah.
yet, too. Okay.
I mean, the insurance company is immaterial in this. You have a billing amount that goes out, and you have a collection amount. The difference is the difference, just, and we can project that every single month for what the billing was and what the receivable was. It's,
Oh, no, I understand what you're saying. I just don't want to, I just want to get to do a fact check of some type, that's all, because we have nothing to base this on.
I get it, but as far as the response for the insurance companies, I get that, some people aren't insured, and some people can't afford the services that were provided, and those hardships, we understand what that was, and by ordinance, you have the authorization to sit there and reduce that bill, too.
Yeah, and we can fight people, but you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. You're not going to get nothing.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, yeah, we don't even dispute those. And then we get settlement cases also because of some other instances that's involved with it, so. And the second part is a lift assist. Like I said, I'm not sure what happened in 2022, why that was omitted off of there. I think it was just an error, because I know we didn't talk about eliminating it, and that's still an issue, so. Last year in 2023, we had 168 lift assists. So far this year, from January 1 till now, we're at 111. So did curb a lot of it. A lot of them were one-time users, but we get a few repeats that we ended up doing some billing on also. So
Well, as I recall the discussion on that, you had recommended not to provide lift assists.
we always do lift assist. We cannot, if somebody calls us 911, we cannot deny it.
Right.
Yeah.
You had wanted to sit there and because you were citing that workman's comp aspect of it was more stringent.
Yeah, for some instances, right, correct.
Right.
And that's what they're running into the state with some of these nursing homes that are calling their fire departments to come lift them up all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Inside the
curbed
one,
quite a bit.
you had indicated 4 or more occurrences during
Correct.
a rolling calendar year.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So if you call for a lift assist today at your residence, you have 1 year from today. If you hit that 4th time in that 1 year, we charge you for it.
Okay, so for the first
So,
4.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Chief, off the top of your head, how many times has that happened?
Where we're billing?
Like
Or the lift assist?
over 4?
Probably about 10 or 15 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, we've curbed it quite a bit. A lot of times it's people with doctor's visits that can't get up or whatever. It's 1 or 2 times. So we don't see the issues that we had before.
Okay.
It's gone down quite a bit.
Because of the,
Because of the fee is one of them,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. The other thing that's out there with GEMT, that one of the big changes this year, which will help us, is now they are paying a rate for treating on transport. So if we go to somebody's house and whatever treatment we provide, we don't transport them, now we can collect that from GEMT also, which is new. That wasn't like that before. So we had a straight treat on transport, it was 125 or whatever it is. Now we can put it through GEMT if it's a Medicare or Medicaid patient. So that'll help somewhat also.
so can you give an example of treating in that aspect a non-resident? Where would that be?
Car accident,
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't
somebody
think
at
of
Walgreens, like the other gentleman mentioned,
that. Okay,
falls down and gets hurt.
okay.
If you're employed in the village, we consider that a resident. Truly.
Any other questions? And next I have number 2, Chief Szynski will give an update on the annual open house held at Fire Station 2 on October 12th.
So we had our open house this past Saturday. I believe, or I should say we believe that we exceeded our previous attendance. It was a gorgeous day out. We had a lot of activities. We're waiting for all the pictures and videos to come by to really kind of judge that, but it was pretty crowded through a whole 2.5 hours. We ended up with 6 more vendors than we've had in the previous years, so we're up to 25, which is a lot. Had a lot of different demonstrations, a lot of different activities and all that, so everybody had a really good time. Lieutenant Rick Krause and firefighter Charlie Harding does a great job putting that together every year. We're glad when it comes, and we're glad it's over. It's just a lot of work that goes into it and all that. So we had 7 of our firefighters that came back off duty to work it. We had, I believe, either 10 or 11 CERT volunteers that helped work it as well. And then also we had half a dozen kids from Chicago Christian baseball team also come out and help. So we had a lot of help out there. We had a DJ who lives on Station 2 side every year. Every year he comes out, does it at no cost to us whatsoever. A couple of face painters that were out there. Sprinkler fitters did a good job. We used a different prop this year for the side-by-side burn. We actually did a 2-story to show people how smoke and that travels up to the 2nd floor. It was an awesome demonstration. Wind conditions were just right for it, so we got a good burn out of it, and I thought it was a good demonstration. Came out really good for that. So thanks for Mike for dropping off the barricades. Parks District dropped off picnic tables for us. So it was a large group effort, all the effort that goes into it. So looking forward to next year to top this year's how many people show up. So it'll be good. There'll be some pictures coming out and some videos. We had some drones up in the air and different things. So that'll be coming out sometime later this week or early next week, depending on when I get them back. And we also had Representative Mary Gill also stop by to visit us. So.
Okay, next I have Chief Szynski to provide an update on current vacancies of the fire department.
All right, we still have 2 vacancies from our retirements earlier this year. I know the Fire and Police Commission have been working on trying to fill them vacancies. It's been a struggle for a lot of different reasons, but we still have them. My guess, we possibly could have a 3rd one coming up in the very near future. One or sometime after May next year. So one of those two, there's some conditions going on right now that will dictate that. So I know they have one candidate from the last exam, which is kind of sad. You only have one person take a written exam. That person is not taking his national registry for the paramedic, so we cannot hire him because he's not a certified paramedic yet. I have no idea where that's at. I haven't heard any more what his status is. And I know they posted the next test. It's, I think, November 23rd on a Saturday. So we'll see what we get out of that. So.
Chief, you said there's going to be possibly a third
Correct.
Vacancy. Is that due to retirement, or you'd rather not say?
I'm not going to say it this time.
Very good.
So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Next, I have Chief Szynski to discuss an update on the new pumper engine.
So last Monday, we drove up to Seagrave, did our final on the engine, did it in one day, which normally 2 days, but we brought 3 firefighters up there to get it all in one day. We had a punch list. There was a few things that they had to work on yet, so they've been doing that since last week. 3:30 this afternoon, I got a text that they're delivering it tomorrow. So it should be at our station sometime around lunchtime tomorrow is when it's expected to arrive. We have their trainer's going to come out the last week of October to do the in-service on it for all of our shifts. When we're going to start moving equipment over to it, we got to mount a radio in there, get everybody trained on it. They have to do driver's training. They have to do pump ops training. So hopefully we see it in service sometime around the middle to the end of November is what our plan is right now.
It's amazing. That was only 3 years to get that truck, Chief.
A little shy of 3 years, which is still the norm out there right now.
I know. I'm just saying,
Yep.
we ordered that in November of '21.
Yeah.
And she's just rolling in now.
We had a little bit of glitch with the overcost and stuff, so that set us back a little bit, but everything else is just supply and demand.
Yeah.
We were up at Seagrave. They're like everybody else. They're trying to hire people. So they raised their rates, their salaries for their welders. They stole a bunch of people from the welding company down the street. Well, that welding company raised their rates, and then they lost a couple people. But within the last 2 years, the first time in history, they have to provide a training center on site to train their new employees. Because most of the people that were there for decades and decades never came back after COVID. So they actually opened up a second facility in Waukesha that builds the cabs right now because they don't have enough people in the Clintonville area. I mean, it's a very small area where Clintonville is, so, So, yeah, they had opened a second facility just to do the cabs, so.
It's unfortunate. It's the world we live in right now where
The world we live in, absolutely.
you just don't have those skilled trades that you'd like to see. And much like what you're talking about, there could be a welder, could be a fireman. I mean,
Yep.
we went through that for the last bunch of years where everybody was, all the villages quietly were haggling over payroll and stuff like that. And I was showing up at networking events and having big, so, hey man, how's my guy?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, go over and ask, whatever town, how my guy's
Exactly.
doing and stuff. There was a lot of stealing going on. So
That's the problem is, the pool on the fire side is just shrinking and shrinking for a lot of different reasons. So
Yeah. No.
everybody's, you can't steal from the volunteers in the part-time departments because they don't exist anymore. So everybody's copying them from other full-time departments. So.
Understood.
The last thing I didn't have, and I sent you guys the email earlier, I sent, Mayor and Trustee Murphy, ladder truck. So I had the Louisville Fire Department reach out to me today. They are looking at purchasing the ladder off of our ladder truck. We're trying to determine what reasonable price is. We're working with Seagrave right now because they're the ones that refer them to us. They're actually going to look at taking that ladder and putting it on a 1994 ladder truck. So actually going backwards 8 years because they have an older fleet and they just can't buy a lot of new equipment either for even with the big city. So we're working on them to get a price. If that happens and we get rid of the ladder, after that it's scrap. You can't put it on the street for nothing because of the delaminating chassis. So it's just scrap metal after that point. So.
If we can recoup that $155,000 we spent back
I don't
in
know if you're going to get that much for
that
a
would be
ladder.
great.
180.
185,000.
180
yeah.
with the extras, you know, but
Yeah.
the ladder alone repair, just to put new guides on the ladder, was $155,000.
Yep.
That number always stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If we get 30 or 40, I'd be happy about that. That's all you're going to get out of it. That's the only lead we've had on it. You can leave that thing out there forever, and it can just sit there and rot at that point. And I see that in other places. So whatever we're offered to it, I think we're better off just taking and getting rid of it and run from it. Otherwise, it's just going to
did
keep
they
sitting
make a
out
hard
there.
offer yet, Chief? Or
No, we're working with them and Seagrave to figure out what a reasonable price would be. And then they have to pull it off the truck and ship it down to Louisville. So I'm going to send them pictures tomorrow. They'll probably come up here in the next week or so, look at it also. So we'll go back and forth after that point or whatever.
All right.
So, but that's the only offer I've had on anything with that truck. Actually, I did have another company or department reach out. They wanted the Q siren. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, that's not what I mean by parts. I mean big parts, not a siren.
Right.
So, as soon as I meet with them and get an updated offer, then we'll talk about it. But yeah, I wouldn't expect $150,000. It's just not going to happen. So,
All right, thank you.
That's all I got.
Trustee Murphy, anything else?
No, sir, that's all I have. Thank you.
I have a quick question, Mayor, please. Chief, can we just go back to number one real quick?
Sure.
Just help me understand this. There is a cost per mile of
Yes.
$20.66 per mile.
Yes.
Well, the type of charge, it is titled mileage per mile. What is mileage per mile? Should it be cost per mile?
That's just the way that it's always been worded. I didn't word it, the
should that be
attorneys do.
corrected, or should
So,
we just leave it? Mileage per mile, I've never heard
Yeah.
of that.
I don't. I didn't write that.
Runs.
I'm sure it's dollar per mile, but we can
Cost per
we
mile.
gotta clean this up anyway, so.
Yeah, that's the way it's always been on there. So,
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to our police and traffic safety report. Trustee Dalzell.
Nothing for this evening, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll go to the Public Work and Boat Launch Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the presentation of the Public Works September 2024 monthly activity reports, and that's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sewer and Water Report. Trustee Navas Esparza.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no items for this evening.
Okay. Building and Health Report. Trustee Peretta.
Thank you, Mayor. No agenda this evening?
Okay. Human Resource and Insurance. Trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Special Committee Reports. We'll start with Economic Development. Trustee Navas Esparza.
I have no items this evening, Mayor, but I know I missed the walking tour last week. We didn't get a chance to connect to discuss, but how were you able to make it, or how did it go?
It was
I was out
fine.
sick.
No, I was out there. Last week, we had our, we had a walking tour that was open to the public. I was out there with Superintendent Freider and some residents, and we met, we parked actually at Worth Township's parking lot, because Marist High School had a big function going, but our focus this time was, last time we looked at the east side of Pulaski, this time we're looking at the west side of Pulaski, and basically, Ryan Peterson, our engineer from Epstein, agreed with what I've been trying to advocate for some time now, is I would like to see 115th Street widened with at least a center lane for turning, introduce a bike path on the south side of the street, on the Alsip side of the street, introduce additional parking on the north side of the street, on the Chicago side, and introduce curb and gutter. That's why that road falls apart all the time. There's nothing containing that road. Again, we're going into 2025 pretty soon. Hard to believe it still looks like a country road where we butt up to Chicago. It's ridiculous. So it's all in the works. But again, folks, we got a great grant to pay for this official survey study, and we're working closer to wrapping this up pretty soon, where we can present this to CMAP and then ultimately the state of Illinois. So. But we actually had the people from Marist High School meet us out there, too.
Oh, nice.
Security, and she was like the assistant. She is a principal now. Is that Beth? Was that Beth O'Neill?
Meg.
Meg, I'm sorry.
And there,
I thought she was still the vice, but she's the principal over there now. Okay,
there
very
was
nice
a
person.
game that evening, too, right?
Huh?
So there's a large game, or there was a...
Oh, yeah, they had
Okay.
They had about 3 different, they had wrestling, all kinds of things going on all at the same time.
Were you able to see everything visually capture, kind of like what it looks like in the morning somewhere?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, but the cars were out there parked against the curb and all that stuff like that, too.
Yeah, when they have a football game, they're all the way both sides of 115th, all the way down almost to Cicero.
But no, Mike, you'd agree, it was a good meeting we had out there with them and all that, yeah. So,
And Ryan did send an email out with a survey link, but I did click on it, and it doesn't work, so I did let him know, unless you had a chance to click on the link. Okay. So it's just giving me an error message. So there is an additional link that Ryan did send out for the Alsip Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan Survey. So there would be Alsip Survey number 2. And that's all I have, Mayor.
okay, thank you. We had village property report, trustee McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing on the agenda for tonight, but I will have the September activity report for approval next week.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to our ordinance legislation report, trustee Preda.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I have a request for approval of an ordinance authorizing an agreement of the Village of Alsip with Accord Carton with respect to the property located at 6155 West 115th Street, Alsip, Illinois, PIN number 2420301009000. Next, I have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving the renewal of Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 6155 West 115th Street, Alsip, Illinois, PIN number 242030100900000.
Very good.
And I see we have,
Yeah, hi, folks, how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
My name is Shannon Chi, and I'm the attorney that represents Accord Carton, and Tom McNulty, the CFO for Accord Carton, is here in case you guys have any questions. Your attorney asked that we be here in case there are questions.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out, folks. Give me 1 second. Let me just bring this up. So this is actually a renewal.
6B renewal, yep.
It is, yes.
Renewal. And then, Madam Attorney, can you just maybe give us a quick outline? Is anything changing at, and I apologize too, is it,
That's okay.
Dave asked me earlier, is it Accord or Accord?
Accord.
Accord, thank you. Is there anything changing at Accord Carton? I mean, any kind of expansion going to take place and so forth?
Not in its current environment, no.
Okay. The, how is business, if I can ask?
Business is doing well. So,
Good.
you know the economy
Yep.
better than I,
Right.
and it's growing and shrinking at the same time. But for our business in the food and bev industry, it's been pretty stable.
Understood. I mean, and it's, and you folks have a considerable amount of property over there, too. Is it just the one campus, or did you open a second
No,
campus?
they're on Central now as well, right?
Yeah.
So we have a central warehouse as well on Central Avenue. That's correct.
That's what I thought. I remember we were talking about that with the building commissioner
So
before.
we have two
so-
buildings, a football field apart, and then a central warehouse as well. So
Understood.
And what kind of cartons do you do? Out of curiosity.
I'm sorry.
What type of cartons?
So they're folding cartons, very simply. So if you think about a cereal box or a cookie box or that type of thing, but also beverage. So any kind of canned beverage as well.
Okay. And obviously, when I was looking at the application here that our attorney, Vince Kankar, was putting together, and when did the initial machine, when did the initial 6B get authorized?
So there were initially 2 Class 6Bs on this building. There was one initially, and then there was an addition put on this building that was a second incentive.
Okay.
Recently, actually, as of this year, the county has asked that we renew them together, which your attorney approved.
Okay.
The county actually updated their computer system and can now only track one control number per PIN number.
Heck of an update there, huh?
I know.
Going
It's been
backwards.
quite messy, but they're working with us, we're working with them. So I believe this is the second renewal for the initial, and then the first renewal for the addition.
Okay.
And I also want to reiterate, this is the only building that has the incentive. So they
Right.
have two buildings, football fields apart. Only one building has the incentive. The other building does not have a Class 6B, and then the building on Central also does not have the Class 6B.
Right, because I don't ever recall that one coming across here. Okay.
The building they started in, that's
No, we certainly want to help our business community, and Mr. McNulty, I appreciate you coming in tonight and stuff then too, so, yeah. Trustees, any other questions for Accord County? No? Thank you very much. You know what I'll do, folks, we'll put this on the agenda for next week on the 21st, and ask the board if they'll consider this for approval then, okay? Okay, thanks much, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustees, I'm sorry, we have one more item. It was the Planning and Zoning and Licenses Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a list of licenses dated September 30th, 2024 through October 11th of 2024. And that's all I have.
Very good. And did anybody have any presentations, petitions, or communications they wanted to share? None? Any unfinished business? Any new business? And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll adjourn this meeting then. The time now is 8:12 p.m. And please enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see everybody next week.